Hello. Last week I received a question which was, is it possible in variable pay to build it in a way that for each record that an employee has, if one of the business goals is not meeting a particular gate, which can be a gate expressed as a percentage or as an amount, if the business goals, financial results are not meeting that particular gate, then we don't pay out the goal, but beyond this, we also don't pay out the individual performance. And so I spent a couple hours building this mock-up to show that it was possible, and I'm going to walk you through this mock-up today. And so, first of all, before I go and explain how things are built, so the way it is built, it's articulated here in the requirement specific that came with the question was we have specific business goals that are going to if the gate isn't met for those goals, then we're going to not pay the individual performance. In this particular case, I made it a little bit different in the sense that if any business goal, doesn't matter, it's not specific to one business goal. I made it built in a way that if any business goal is not meeting the gate, then we're not paying the whole thing. And that's what we see here. I have this field, which is a business goal custom field, um, which basically has a formula in it that says if the value of incentive payout percent is less than 92%, then we're considering that the gate hasn't been met. And as a consequence, when we roll up from here to the business section fields, um, and we calculate basically the sum of all of the entries that are here, basically this value gets rolled up here. We can then build an if-then rule that says, okay, this was technically the calculated payout for the goal, including all the metrics that were in place. But because you didn't meet one of the goals, you didn't meet the gate on one of the goals, then you're not getting any payout. And as a consequence, you're also not getting any individual payout. Whereas the other record for the second half of the year for this employee is different because here we're meeting 94, 99, which is greater than 92. So we're meeting the goal, the gate, sorry, and as a consequence, we're getting the payout on the individual and we're getting the payout on the payout on the business goals and the payout on the individual goal. So that's an introduction to what is built here. We could do a test example where I could change, the formula or the threshold for the gate, and we would see that everything would update accordingly here. Um, so I'd like to explain how this is built. The way where we start is we start with this field, which is a custom field at the business goal section for GateMet. So it has a formula in it. If this is less than 92, then 1, otherwise 0. Which is why we have 1 here and we have 0 here. And then we roll it up here, and then we do our if-then rule. But the trick is to bring this value down to here. How do we do this? We do it by actually not taking the ID of this business section field and pasting it right here. That would probably lead to errors, which was the case of the person who brought this particular requirement to me. On top of also they were using text instead of numbers, and I would always recommend using numbers for rollups. No, we're going to take the value from here and bring it to the assignment level. The assignment level in variable pay really is the spine of variable pay. Everything goes through it. If you want to communicate from within, between sections, or from each of the sections to the entry level, or even down from the entry level to these sections, you need to go through assignment level here. So I created a custom field here, assignment level custom field, in which I took the ID of this column and I pasted it in the formula of this one. So I get my 1 here, and I did the same thing. Once I had it here, I created a field at the individual section level, and I took the ID of this field and I pasted it in here, which is how we make sure that this and this are always aligned. Now that we have it here, we can do the same thing that we did here, which is to say if the value is greater than 0 here, then you get 0, otherwise you get what is calculated from the rollup here. And then the last thing is when we roll up, so I'll pull the other record, the one that actually has values. When we roll up, we have to go back through variable pay, the assignment level here as well. So we take the value from this field at the individual section level, we paste it into the formula for this field. Same thing, we take, or we actually roll it up. We don't paste the ID of the column, we do the roll up aggregate function, which I'll show in the admin center in a little bit. And we roll it up here, and then we roll it up here, and that's how we get our final bonus payout. Now let me show a little bit in the back end how things are built. We're going to navigate to the design worksheet. And we'll start, as per my explanations, we'll start by looking at the fields at the business goal level. So here, forms field, business goal. So the first field that I created is the gate met here. So and I said if goals result payout is greater than 0.9, then you meet. So actually my gate was 90%, not 92. I think I said 92 previously. Then you are in the clear, 0. Otherwise, you get a 1. Oops, well, change the formula. Also, one other thing that I did is I took the standard field that calculates the payout for the goal and I pasted it. So I took it from, if you go to configure label names and visibility, you get the list of all standard field IDs from the standard field, and then you take it from there and you paste it in the formula. Why? Because you can't roll up and use the roll up feature on a standard field. So in order to roll it up to the business section level, you have to actually create a custom field. And that's how you're going to roll it up to the field called calculated payout. I'm rolling it, aggregated, sorry. You're going to take the value from the goal payout. One thing that you should know is when you try to build these aggregate fields, first create all the fields that you need. So you create the fields at the business goal level, then at the business section, then at the assignment. Try to have a clear architecture of how you're going to build this in your head. Create the fields, give them proper names, not custom fields, 5, 6, 7. Give them, I always start with which section is it in? Business section, business goal section. And once you have it here, sorry, there's like a little formatting issue here, layout issue. So once you have it properly built with the right ID, then save, log out, log back in, and then do the aggregate. Then select the aggregate. If you don't do that, you're going to run into error messages tied probably more to the browser than to SuccessFactors itself. But that's how you do it. You want to create the field for the custom field that takes the calculated goal payout in business goal, give it a good name, then in business section, and then you do the connection between the two after you save, then you log out, log back in, and then you come here and select it. That's the way you can do it without having to touch the XML. So then I rolled up my gate met, the one that we showed with the 90%. I roll it up here. From here, what I explain is that, well, first I did the if-then rule on the final payout here. And then from here, I also send it to the assignment level. And what I explained was I took the field ID from the business section field. Oh, that's annoying. So we got to go back to show it correctly. We got to go back to assignment, and I just took assignment total gate met. Actually, I rolled it up, I guess. I rolled it up from business goal section, actually, not pasted the formula ID. I rolled it up here. And then at the individual section level, I pasted the field ID from ALCF so that it works fine. And then I did the same at the individual section level. And then like I was explaining, this field has to go back through ALCF. So individual section final payout that has the formula. It gets rolled up into the assignment level here. I say rolled up, but the proper name is aggregate. So it gets aggregated here through this function, and then it gets aggregated again at the entry level. So it's just a huge roll up, and that's how we build the complexities in variable pay through the assignment level to make very customized configuration. So I hope this was useful. This is very important to understand this because that's how you're going to get better at capturing complex customer requirements. And basically, once you understand how this all articulates through the assignment level, you can build incredibly complicated things. One last thing I want to say is also when you, and you probably saw it when I showed the business goal, you can also do a trick, which is to count the number of goals. So let's say, for example, your your requirement was to say only if all the goals in the business goal section of one record have met their gates, then does the individual performance trigger. Then the problem is you could say, okay, if the calculated is greater than the target for all the goals, but that's not that wouldn't meet the requirement. There would be tons of cases where that wouldn't be correct. But so what the cleanest way to do is to create a field called number of goals, default the value to 1, then you roll it up, and that gives you basically the number of goals at the business section level. And then you can say, you can count if the total gate met versus the business goal count and say, oh, do I have a match here in terms of, you would probably have to switch the logic and say 1 equal gate met and 0 is gate not met. And then you say if there are 3 goals and I have a total of 3 in the total gate met, then I'm meeting the requirement and then I can pay the individual performance. All right, I think this was probably the most complex thing I've ever explained in a recording, so I hope this is helpful, and it shows the extent of what we can do in variable pay. Thank you.